Welcome back to Biology at Physiology. Have you ever wondered how you were able to recognize your parents, read a book, watch a cricket match, or admire a beautiful sunset? The answer lies in one of the most amazing organs of our body, that is the human eye. Did you know that the nearly half of all sensory receptors in our body are located in our eyes? That's why vision is considered is the most important sense. In today's class, we will study the physiological anatomy of eye in a simple, systematic and exam-oriented approach. By the end of this class, you will clearly understand structure of the eye, rods and cones, photopigment cycle, visual pathway, visual reflexes, defects of vision. So if you are preparing for undergraduate, postgraduate, NET, SLET, nursing or other competitive examinations, this class is going to be extremely helpful for you. Let's begin. Introduction. The eye is often called as the window to the world. It provides nearly 80% of the information that our brain receives from the surrounding environment. Vision is essential because it helps us to detect danger, recognize faces, communicate through facial expressions, read books, drive vehicles and learn new things. In fact, a large portion of our cerebral cortex is devoted solely to processing visual information. This tells us how important our eyes are. Electromagnetic spectrum. Before understanding vision, we first need to understand light. Light is a form of electromagnetic energy. The electromagnetic spectrum contains many types of waves from shortest wavelength to longest wavelength. We have gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible light, infrared rays, microwaves, radio waves. Among all these waves, our eyes can detect only visible light. The visible spectrum range from 400 to 700 nanometers. We know around 400 nanometer we get the violet color, and around 700 nanometer we get the red light. So remember, short wavelength is violet and long wavelength is red. Color perception. But why does an apple appear green? The answer is simple. Objects absorb some wavelengths and reflects others. A green apple reflects green light while absorbing the remaining colors. Similarly, white objects reflect all wavelengths. Black objects absorb almost all the wavelengths. Therefore, the color we see depends on the wavelength reflected into our eyes. Accessory structures of eye. Now let's move to the supporting structure of the eye. These are called the accessory structures. Eyelids. Think of eyelids as the curtains of a window. They protect the eyeball, spread tears, prevent drying and close during sleep. Eyelashes and eyebrows, these work like natural filters. They prevent dust, sweat, insects and excessive sunlight from entering the eyes. Lacrimal apparatus. This is the image showing the position of the lacrimal apparatus adjacent to our eye. This is the tear producing system. Tears contain water, salts, mucus and lysozyme. Lysozyme is an antibacterial enzyme. Functions of tears include lubrication, cleaning, nutrition and protection against infection. Extrinsic eye muscles. Each eyeball possesses 6 extraocular muscles. These muscles move the eye in different directions. They are supplied by 3 cranial nerves: oculomotor nerve 3, trochlear nerve 4 and abducens nerve is the 6th cranial nerve. These muscles allow smooth and coordinated eye movements. These are the muscles, extrinsic muscles of the eye. Structure of the eyeball. The eyeball is basically 3 concentric layers or tunics. The simply FVR. F is the fibrous, V is the vascular and the third one is the retina. Fibrous tunic, this is the outer protective layer. It has 2 parts. Cornea is the transparent. It bends incoming light and performs most of the eye's refractive power. It contains no blood vessels. There is second layer of the fibrous tunic is the sclera. It is the white part of the eye and its function is to protect, maintain the eye shape and help in attachment for the eye muscles. Vascular tunic or uvea. This middle layer consists of choroid richly supplied with blood vessels. It contains melanin pigment that absorbs scattered light. Ciliary body functions, it produces aqueous humor and changes lens shape during accommodation. Iris, the colored portion of the eye, its central opening is the pupil. The iris controls the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the pupil size. This is the image, this is the structural image of the eyeball. Retina. The retina is basically the functional layer of vision. It has fundamentally two parts, pigmented layer and neural layer. Pigmented layer absorbs extra light and prevents reflection. Neural layer contains rods, cones and bipolar cells and ganglionic cells. The axons of ganglion cells form the optic nerve. Internal structures inside the eyeball, we find lens, anterior cavity and vitreous chamber. And lens is transparent, flexible, avascular, and it is responsible for fine focusing. Anterior cavity is filled with aqueous humor. Its functions to provide nutrition, maintains intraocular pressure and removes wastes. Vitreous chamber, it contains vitreous humor. Its functions are maintain eyeball shape and supports retina. Photoreceptors, the retina contains two kinds of photoreceptor cells. Rod cells are approximately 120 million. Remember them as night vision cells. Their functions are provide dim light vision, black and white vision, highly light sensitive and low visual acuity. They are located in the peripheral retina. They are absent in fovea. Rhodopsin pigment is found in the rod cells. This is the neural layer of the retina. It contains the photoreceptor cells like rod cells and cone cells, which in together form the pigmented layer. And there is outer synaptic layer, bipolar cell, inner synaptic layer, and lastly there is ganglionic layer. Cone cells, there are approximately 6 million. Remember them as day vision cells. They functions, they provide bright light vision, color vision and high visual acuity. They are concentrated in the fovea centralis. There are three types of cones, red, green and blue. These combine to produce millions of colors. Photopigment cycle. Now let's understand how light actually produces vision. When the light strikes the rhodopsin, then cis retinal is changes into transretinal. This process is called as isomerization of the rhodopsin pigment. Next, the transretinal separates from the opsin, and this is called as bleaching. An enzyme called retinal isomerase then converts transretinal back into cisretinal. Finally, the cisretinal again combines with opsin and the pigment is regenerated and becomes ready to detect another photon or the ray of light. This continuous recycling is called the visual cycle. Adaptation. Our eyes continuously adjust to changing light conditions. Light adaptation. Suppose you suddenly come out of a cinema hall into bright light. Initially everything appears too bright. Within a few seconds cones become active and rods become less sensitive and your vision becomes normal. Dark adaptation. Now imagine entering a dark room. Initially you cannot see everything. After about 8 minutes cones partially adapt. After 30 to 40 minutes, rods regenerate rhodopsin and night vision becomes excellent. This is called dark adaptation. Now let's trace the journey of light from the eye to the brain. Remember the sequence, rods and cones, then it comes into bipolar cells, then ganglionic cells, then optic nerve, then optic chiasma, then optic tract, lateral geniculate nucleus, optic radiation and primary visual cortex. Visual reflexes. There are three important visual reflexes. Pupillary light reflex. Bright light is fall on the parasympathetic stimulation. Sphincter pupillae contracts and the pupil contracts. In dim light, sympathetic stimulation causes dilator pupil contraction and the pupil dilates. The purpose is to regulate the amount of light entering the eye. Accommodation reflex. When viewing a nearby object, the ciliary muscle contracts, the lens becomes thicker and more convex. The pupil constricts, both eye converge. All these changes help focus near objects sharply. Convergence reflex. Both eyeballs move medially. This ensures that the image falls on corresponding retinal points. As a result, we obtain binocular vision and accurate depth perception. Defects of vision. Finally, let's discuss common refractive errors. First of all is the emmetropia. Normal eye image forms exactly on the retina and the vision is clear here. Myopia. This is also called nearsightedness. Causes eyeball is too long, eyeball becomes too long, image forms before the retina, so cannot see the distant object clearly. Correction is a concave lens, so myopia provides a minus power. Hyperopia, for far-sightedness, it is also known as far-sightedness, and causes eyeball too short, image forms behind the retina. Problem is difficulty seeing the nearby objects. Correction uses a convex lens. Hyperopia indicates the plus lens. Now we'll go for the astigmatism. That is the cause of uneven curvature of cornea or lens. Lens focuses at different points and vision becomes blurred or distorted. Its correction use cylindrical lenses. So my dear students, that's the complex physiological anatomy of the eye explained in my simplest possible way. If this class helped you understand the topic, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. In the next class, we will continue with another important topic of human physiology for undergraduate, postgraduate, NET, SLET examinations. If you have any doubt, write them in comment section. I will be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching and happy learning. Bye.